In a world that just never seems to stop talking, what if the most powerful thing you could ever say is nothing at all? Today, we're going to explore the incredible, world-changing power of silence. So, let me ask you something. What do you think is the most powerful way to communicate? Is it a big, rousing speech? A beautifully written letter? What if I told you it was, well, saying nothing at all? To really get this, let's dive into an incredible story. It's about the Indian nationalist leader Shri Chandra Bose, who went to visit Mahatma Gandhi. But here's the catch. Gandhi was in the middle of a vow of silence. Bose went there knowing he wouldn't hear a single spoken word from him. And this is where it gets really fascinating. After the visit, Bose told people that he'd had a long conversation with Gandhi. A long conversation? I mean, how on earth is that even possible with someone who was being completely silent? Well, the answer wasn't in any spoken words. The entirety of Gandhi's side of this so-called long conversation was written down. And get this, it wasn't on some fancy paper, but on a humble little scrap of a newspaper wrapper. And this was the message. Convey my love to everyone in the family. That's it. 8 simple words. No big political strategy, no grand statement. In that one moment, Gandhi showed that the absence of words can give the few words you do choose an unbelievable amount of weight and power. And this brings us to a really crucial question, right? In a world that expects leaders to be vocal, to persuade, to command with their words, why would someone like Gandhi actively choose to be silent? This quote from Gandhi himself kind of gives us the answer. While the rest of the world saw a limitation, he saw a gift. He didn't see his silence as a sacrifice at all, but as a mercy of God. So what was this profound power that he found in it? The source we're looking at points to 2 huge discoveries he made. On one hand, he found this immense personal joy just by being in the quiet. But on a more practical level, silence was a tool for self-control. It was like a filter, making sure that when he finally did communicate, it was never from a place of anger. Now, this isn't just a history lesson. Gandhi's personal practices is actually a powerful mirror for our own modern world. The source suggests that his experience holds a really crucial lesson for us, living in our endlessly noisy lives. So what is the price we pay for all our noise? Well, the author makes a claim that is just almost unbelievable. They argue that if we really, truly understood the value of silence, this much of the world's sorrow would just vanish. 50%. Just think about that for a second. Half of all our grief, our anger, our misunderstandings, gone. This slide really puts it all into perspective. Before modern civilization, we used to have about 6 to 8 hours of quiet naturally every single day. But now, we've basically figured out how to turn night into day and transform any moment of stillness into constant commotion. We've literally engineered quiet right out of our lives. And that raises a huge question for all of us. In this constant commotion, the noise outside and the noise inside our own heads, what are we missing? What important signals are just getting drowned out by all the static? The source offers this beautiful metaphor as the answer. It says to imagine a divine radio, a signal that is always broadcasting, always singing. The problem isn't the broadcast. The problem is our reception. All our noise creates way too much static. Silence, well, that's how we tune the dial. So how do we actually do that? How do we tune in? The text suggests a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First, we have to intentionally create quiet, maybe through something like meditation. Then we prepare our minds to actually receive the signal. And finally, we listen. Not with anxiety, but with a real sense of peace. And so this whole idea isn't just about famous historical figures or big philosophies. It really leaves us with a very personal question. What's the noise in your life? The notifications, the constant chatter, that never-ending voice in your head? And what beautiful, quiet song might it be stopping you from hearing?